Well, welcome. This is Lana Ray, and many of you have listened to me on my personal channel on Rumble and YouTube, where I talk about current events and things that I think are happening in our nation that might have seemed like conspiracy 6 to 10 years ago, that many things are coming to pass. It's very, very slow, much slower than I ever anticipated. I've been doing videos off and on for probably 6 years now, since 2020. And I've done a lot of videos on the Act of 1871. There's like a 4 or 5 part series. I'm probably going to revisit that and make some current videos on that. Some of the things have just taken way longer, and they've had to build the foundation with the public. They've had to slowly, what we call, awaken the public slowly. And there are millions of us that have awakened to some really hard truths when it comes to children and women and men and people in our society. So I'm starting another series on my channels that's going to bring some awareness to the 17th letter of the alphabet, which is Q, and a little bit of history on that, a little bit of definition. So, like and subscribe to my channel. I'm on Patriot Resource Network on Rumble, and I'm going to put it on my personal channel on Rumble and on YouTube. So, wherever you're watching me, please subscribe, follow, like, put things in the comments. Some of you were making comments 1 to 2, 3 years ago, and it's very helpful. Let me know what you're wanting to know more about, because I have lots of documents that I've printed off, especially when we're talking about the Act of 1871 and the incorporated DC, which there's no reason for us not to anticipate this coming out. It's just moving that way. It's moving that direction. Everything's moving this direction. Um, so this first video is kind of an intro. I'm just trying to make you guys aware. And I don't know how much clearer President Trump can tell you, because he has told us in different speeches, in different just reporting to the reporters, he has said, because it's a military operation. His 2017 inauguration, he had the branches of military standing behind him, which has never happened before in an inauguration. They were standing behind him while he said the words, and we're not transferring power from one political party to another, but we are transferring power back to you, the people. And they are all standing there going, that think that at that moment, the military was actually in charge of our country. We may have been under military occupation at that point, because we're in an operation. This thing is not all about Trump. I wish people could understand. I mean, I don't even like all these political parties. I I don't know what purpose they serve other than division, which is what I believe was the purpose of them. The reason I want to start this is because I believe we're at the start, the beginning of the public reveal. The start. I think what Trump said on whatever day it was, Thursday, July 16th, 2026, the start. His speech was not delivered on ABC or NBC. And so those two networks are going to be in really big, bad trouble, which we've been waiting for that forever, for years, for decades. I really want to say, because this is an intro video, this is where this would go. I just need people to just sit back and ask themselves, how do we find out what's going on anywhere? How, for the last 50 years, how have we found out anything going on in our nation, in other countries, in the states? How do we find out anything? Anything? Well, 50 years ago, whatever, I don't know the dates of when radio started, but radio was what? One of the first things. So whoever controlled the radio announcing controls the information to the people. And we are helpless in this, folks. At that point, we were helpless. We had to depend on that for information. So whatever we believed, what was said, what else do we do? Okay, so there's a belief going on. Hey, we went to the moon. We got TV whenever it came in. What, in the 50s? Late 50s? I don't know. I remember kind of barely getting a TV back then. And we only had, what, 2 or 3 channels? But who ran that? Who owned the networks then? We're at their mercy. Whatever they told us, it's like we're sitting in a classroom. We're sitting in a classroom, and whatever we're hearing and watching on TV 40 years ago or whatever, 50 years ago, we just believed it. We believed it. What else would we do? Okay, so as time goes by, we got more networks. We got more radio, we got more TV, we got more channels. Who runs them? Do you know how easy, if you've got the money, the wealth of the nation, of the wealth of every country, if you're over time, you've put your people in place and infiltrated into every country, into their leadership. Can we not see that could happen? From 100 years ago, 200 years ago, there could be people that had the money. And we've heard their names. We've had the name Rockefeller thrown around, Rothschilds. I've heard that there's names that we don't even know who they are, but they're even more powerful than them. I don't know. See, we don't really know. I mean, if you really think we've been to the moon back in the 60s or whatever, and all of a sudden, for some reason we can't land on the moon now, or we just choose not to, and we see all the screw ups, and because I want to wake you guys up a little bit to just say, what if? What if? what if some of these other things might have some truth in them? Because I can tell you right now, what we're seeing all over the world, what we're seeing, like we go and actually can surprise Maduro and his wife in their bedroom and remove them and bring them over here to the USA. We're basing our voting on what we're hearing. We're basing everything on that. Everything that we do in life, from investments to prices at the grocery store, everything's running through mainstream media. This has got to change. It's just got to change. We've got to have another way to get accurate, real-time information about our city, state, nation, and what's going on in other countries. There's got to be a way to get the truth. So, see you in the next video.